Welcome to day 7 of the paint and body work for the 1978 Datsun 280Z. We've stripped the cowl, the hatch, the doors, and the major parts that we have left are the fenders. We have both fenders remaining and the hood, which we're going to strip today on day 7. So the goal is to strip the hood and then see how much extra time we have left to possibly strip the fenders. And then after that, we're down to the little stuff. We got the gas door, we have the inspection lids, the bumper fillers, and little stuff. So that can probably all be done in one additional day, but hopefully we'll get the hood, top and bottom stripped today, and then see if we can start work on the fenders. And then after that, we strip the rest of the stuff and we're ready to start painting. So welcome to day 7. Let's get busy. Alright, so I just wanted to take some time and kind of show you guys a little bit more in depth why we're going to bare metal. Now, first look at this hood, you're thinking, what in the world, man? Why are you sanding that thing down all the way to bare metal? And especially the rest of the panels, the doors, the fenders, and why you go all the way to bare metal? That's just too much. It's entirely too much work. I can hear all the collision repair guys in the comments saying that should have been a scuff and spray, little sealer, and base coat, clear coat. These areas of delamination should have just been DA'd to bare metal, and the rest of it should have been left alone. Well, that's fine for collision work. That's not what I'm doing. So the reason we're going to bare metal is that you can see the major issue right here we have is a 2-3 inch area. It's not very large, but it's fairly big, of an area of delamination. What delamination is just where the paint has lost adhesion to the level below it, or it never had it to begin with, and it's starting to lift. Now obviously this is just a couple little inches, but even on the edges here, I'm barely putting any pressure on that, and it's just flaking up. So that's not something you want, especially on a finished project. We got another little bitty area right here. It's kind of doing the same thing. Yeah, there we go. Yep. So, and this was just, washed with a pressure washer, okay? This isn't some, crazy in-depth, thing that's causing this paint to just peel up like this. So this is an issue. This is a major issue. And again, I'm barely putting any pressure on this stuff, all right? So I kind of want you guys to understand that. I'm literally just running this pick up to the edge and just barely leaning into it. And as soon as it's finding a weak spot, it's peeling all this up. So that's delamination. You don't want that. So we need to address that and fix it. The other area of concern is these little cracks, okay? Now, there's a few cracks here. There's a crack right there. Crack right there. And you can see them kind of all over the place. So little spider cracks. Normally when you find cracks like this, especially in multiple panels, that kind of is a big clue that work has been done prior, right? When you start digging into these areas that are cracking, aside from the delamination, obviously we'd have to fix that, DA sand that, and then make that area bigger, refill that in, and then start priming, sealing, base coat, clear coat. When you start running into these cracks, it's a good indication that there's something going on underneath the paint, aside from just a little bit of delam, which could be from some wax and grease that got left over, or not a good DA sanding prior to the application of paint. So I just want to go a little bit more in depth and kind of show you, when you start seeing cracks like this, potentially what could be hiding underneath. And this hood does look really straight. It looks really good. So all that to me means is the guy who worked on it prior did a pretty good job of block sanding, DA sanding, and making it look like it was supposed to look originally. So when you start digging into this stuff, there's no telling what you're going to find. So I just want to kind of go over in depth a little bit and show you what appears to be a very small crack, very small issue. It's a lot more going on underneath. Let's take a look. So we got a little crack right here, little crack right here. Typically what you would do is just try to sand that out. And I just want to kind of show you how to start reading some of this bodywork when you start getting into it, okay? So we got the base coat, clear coat on top. That's the dark black stuff. Right underneath it, when you start getting into the light gray and this stuff right here, obviously that's primer. Right below that we have a layer of Bondo, and then we have another layer of Bondo or filler. And it's kind of hard to see this little seam right here, but that is a third layer, okay? And then we come over and we got a fourth layer right here, and then we got a fifth layer. So that is 5 layers. So we got 1, 2, 3, 3's right here, 4, 5 layers of Bondo underneath that paint until we get to bare metal. Now there's nothing wrong with that, but if the camera will pick it up, let's see, these little bitty dots, I don't know if you can see, kind of scattered throughout. So what that is that is entrapped air. Anytime you entrap air, you're trapping moisture and humidity, even though they say it can't permeate and all that stuff. You're putting primer underneath, you're putting primer on top and sealing it. When you have those little bitty air bubbles all throughout, whatever was going on in the atmosphere at the time that you entrapped that air, that's in there, okay? So those little bitty bubbles over time, they flex, they react to temperature and humidity, and when they do that for 10, 15, 20 years down the road, that's how you get issues like cracks, delamination, porosity issues, and that's where that comes from. Especially, you know, the fillers that were used 20, 30 years ago are vastly different than the fillers today. So we might not have the same issues with today's fillers, even if we had the air bubbles that we had with fillers of past years. So take your time, spread it on thin, make sure you get all the bubbles out. Don't whip the filler when you're mixing it. Always spread it and get all the air bubbles out. That way you don't get any of these issues going on in your project down the road, long-term longevity wise. So that's going to wrap up this little tech tip. Hope that helps. We're going to get back to stripping this hood to bare metal. That's going to bring this episode to a close. If you like this stuff, please click the thumbs up button. If you have any questions, leave a comment below. If you haven't done so already, please consider hitting that subscribe button and turn on your bell notifications. That way you get notified just as soon as I get around to posting another video. I appreciate it as always, and until next time, thanks for watching this one.